Some places in the world aren't just hard to visit, they're flat out impossible. Whether guarded by governments, hidden by nature, or just too dangerous for human life, these locations remain fully off limits, and that only makes them more intriguing. Some are top security bunkers, places so classified that even their existence is barely accepted. Others are so remote and extreme that even the most fearless explorers wouldn't survive a visit. And then there are those that are forbidden for reasons no one fully understands. Places with haunting pasts, eerie warnings, or rules enforced at the cost of your life. No matter how badly you want to go, these places are out of reach. From islands where trespassers vanish to fortresses where the secrets run deeper than the walls, these 15 locations are some of the most locked down places on Earth. Let's start with number 15, Area 51. It's basically impossible to enter Area 51. In the eyes of public, it's just a military operating area. Some fences, some guards, nothing to see. In reality, well, it's the most classified place in the United States, and we all know that. Tucked deep in the Nevada desert, this base is so secure you can't even get a good look at it. If you've heard or read anything about it, it's totally true. The mountains around it, guarded. The roads leading to it, heavily patrolled. Try getting too close and you'll be met with armed security, motion sensors, and scary signs that don't bother with warnings, just the promise of deadly force. Recently, 3 U.S. Air Force jets from the Janet fleet, those unmarked government planes that fly out of Las Vegas to secret locations, were spotted heading there. What they were carrying? No one knows. Back in 2019, when people joked about storming Area 51, only 150 actually showed up. None got in. No one ever does. Number 14, Fort Knox. The phrase, "as secure as Fort Knox," isn't just a bull hit, it's a challenge that's never been accepted. Located in Kentucky, the U.S. Bullion Depository holds 147.3 million ounces of gold, an amount that we can barely imagine. If you want to put a value to it, that's $435 billion. Now just imagine it. A billionaire gave you $1 billion and you spent $1,000 each day. It'd take you 2,740 years to use it all up. Fort Knox was built in 1936, and we must admit, it was built to last. With 4,200 cubic yards of reinforced concrete and 1,500 tons of steel, this fortress is impenetrable. Its massive vault door alone takes multiple people with separate access codes just to open it. If you want to become the professor from Money Heist, well, just dream about it. The security system includes armed guards, electrified fences, motion sensors, landmines, and surveillance drones, just in case you have any ideas. A normal person like us can't even get close to the front gates, but when you make rockets, EVs, and billions of dollars, you can do almost anything you want, and that's why President Trump announced that Musk will check the gold reserves to make sure it's still there. Don't worry, it is. So, could it be just a PR stunt? Or is there something fishy going on? Well, who knows? But one thing is clear, you can't go inside. Number 13, Room 39. If North Korea has a financial nerve center, it's Room 39, except officially, it doesn't exist. No public records, no official address, just a name whispered in intelligence circles. It's rumored to be the regime's secret cash cow, generating billions through counterfeiting, insurance fraud, drug manufacturing, and arms smuggling. Located somewhere within the Workers' Party headquarters, its exact location is unknown, and maybe that's intentional. Those who come too close or ask too many questions don't just get turned away, they disappear. Some reports claim defectors and spies who tried exposing Room 39 ended up mysteriously executed. What goes on behind those doors? Nobody outside Pyongyang truly knows. Maybe it's just another shady Kim office where he maybe does something bad, or maybe it's something far more sinister. Number 12, Uluru. For years, Uluru was an iconic climbing spot, drawing thrill seekers from around the world. But to the Anangu people, this wasn't just a rock. It was a sacred site, and they spent decades fighting to protect it. In 2019, their efforts paid off. Uluru was permanently closed to climbers. Now, visitors are welcome to admire Uluru from the ground, but setting foot on it is strictly forbidden. And if you need extra motivation to respect the rule, well, there's a curse. Tourists who once took souvenirs from Uluru reported streaks of terrible luck: financial ruin, sickness, failed relationships. Park rangers started receiving hundreds of mailed-back rocks, now known as sorry rocks, as desperate people tried undoing their misfortune. So, whether you believe in the curse, karma, or just respecting traditions, one thing is clear: Uluru isn't for climbing, it's for honoring. Number 11. The Temple of Mount Kailash. Everest? People risk their lives to summit it. Kilimanjaro? Hikers flock to its peak. But Mount Kailash? No one dares. Not because it's impossible, but because it's sacred. Considered the spiritual center of the universe by Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Bon practitioners, Kailash is untouchable. Climbing it is believed to bring instant bad karma, and let's be real, 2025 doesn't need more of that. Even those who've attempted treks around the mountain report strange experiences: unexplainable weather shifts, extreme fatigue, and even rapid aging. Yes, some claim their hair turned white overnight. At its base, an ancient temple rumored to hold relics sits untouched, as if guarding something powerful. Some believe a lost civilization lives beneath the mountain. Others say it's a gateway to another dimension. But in reality, no one knows what it is. Number 10. North Sentinel Island. Most undiscovered civilizations are in history books. This one still exists. North Sentinel Island is home to one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth, the Sentinelese, a people who've lived in isolation for tens of thousands of years. They don't want visitors, and India's government has made it illegal to even try. Why? Well, there are two reasons. First, these guys think that if you show up, you're a threat, and they're not wrong. Their immune systems have zero defense against modern diseases. Something as simple as the flu or a cold could wipe them out totally. Second, they don't just dislike visitors. They defend their land with deadly force. Fishermen who got too close, shot with arrows. A missionary who tried to spread peace, killed instantly. To protect both the Sentinelese and clueless outsiders, this mysterious island is completely off limits. Number 9. Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia is a highly classified U.S. military base in the Indian Ocean, technically a British territory, but under full American control since 1966. How did that happen? The U.S. forgave $14 million in British debt, secured the island, and evicted thousands of its native inhabitants in 2009. That's business. What followed was total secrecy. Housing over 4,000 military personnel and 654 buildings, Diego Garcia is known as a launch point for operations in the Middle East. But speculation runs deeper. Some believe it's home to a secret prison, part of CIA black site programs, or even the last known landing place of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. The U.S. denies all conspiracies, but let's be honest, when an entire island is wiped clean of its original residents and completely off limits to the public, people will start asking $64 questions. Number 8. Heard Island. Well, this island is a heavenly paradise. Tucked away between Madagascar and Antarctica, Heard Island is one of the most untouched places on the planet. With no permanent population, it remains under strict Australian government protection, open only to a few researchers who need serious clearance. Why the restrictions? The island's harsh, unpredictable weather makes survival nearly impossible, and it's home to one of Australia's only active volcanoes, Big Ben. With towering glaciers, violent storms, and zero infrastructure, Heard Island is as inhospitable as it gets. It's also a scientific gold mine, offering rare insights into climate change, wildlife, and untouched ecosystems. But if you think you can just charter a boat and sneak in, forget it. Heard Island is meant to remain pretty wild, untouched, and completely off-limits to casual visitors. Number 7. Surtsey Island. Born from a volcanic eruption in the 1960s, Surtsey Island is one of the youngest landforms on Earth, and Iceland has no intention of letting humans mess with it. Scientists saw this as a once-in-a-lifetime experiment, a chance to observe how new land develops naturally. That's why Surtsey is strictly off-limits to everyone but a few approved researchers. The goal? To see how life takes root, how species arrive, and how ecosystems form, without human interference. The importance of this isolation was made clear when a group of young scientists secretly planted potatoes. Yes, really. Their little stunt led to a full-scale investigation into how even minor human actions could disrupt the natural process. Lesson learned: Surtsey is a no-go zone. Number 6. Poveglia Island. Some places are creepy because of legends. Some are for supernaturals. But Poveglia Island is terrifying because of its history. Located in the Venetian lagoon, this abandoned island has been a mass grave, a quarantine zone, and a nightmare asylum. In the 14th century, plague victims were dumped and burned here to contain the disease. Centuries later, in the 1900s, it became a mental hospital, where doctors allegedly tortured patients under the guise of treatment. By the time the hospital shut down in 1968, Poveglia's reputation was sealed. Today, the island is completely off-limits, except for the occasional ghost hunting team with special permission. Locals won't go near it, and even the Italian government wants nothing to do with it. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Poveglia's past is enough to keep most people far, far away. Number 5. Mezhgorye. Welcome to Mezhgorye, a place so off-limits that even Russians don't know what's really going on inside. So just imagine how secretive it is. This top-secret town, located in the Ural Mountains, is completely closed to outsiders, with only authorized personnel and a handful of locals allowed inside. Why? Well, theories point to Mount Yamantau, a massive mountain nearby whose name literally means Evil Mountain. Some believe Russia has built a Cold War-era bunker, a nuclear weapons facility, or even a doomsday shelter big enough to house government officials in case of global catastrophe. The Russian government? They claim it's just a mining site or a food storage facility, which, let's be honest, no one is buying. When a place is this heavily guarded, secretive, and off-limits, you can bet there's something bigger happening behind those gates. Number 4. Jiangsu National Security Education Museum. Ever wanted to visit a real-life spy museum? Well, unless you're a Chinese citizen, that's not happening. Well, it's sad, but what we can do. The Jiangsu National Security Education Museum, located in Nanjing, China, is dedicated to espionage history. But foreigners are strictly banned from entering. Why? The museum is said to hold classified documents, Cold War-era spy gadgets, and real-life espionage tools straight out of a James Bond movie, including lipstick guns, microfilm hidden in playing cards, and disguises that would make any undercover agent jealous. Chinese officials claim that they don't want foreigners getting a peek at their old spy techniques, but let's be honest. If the government is this secretive about a museum, what else is hiding inside? Even for Chinese visitors, photography is strictly prohibited. So, unless you're a citizen, the mysteries inside will remain just that, mysteries. Number 3. RAF Menwith Hill. From a distance, RAF Menwith Hill looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. Massive white domes scattered across the countryside in North Yorkshire, England. But don't let the futuristic aesthetic make you Joe. This place is one of the most heavily guarded intelligence facilities on Earth. And we're not kidding. Operated by the British Ministry of Defense, the U.S. Department of Defense, and the NSA, Menwith Hill is believed to be a key hub for global surveillance. Many believe it's a core part of Echelon, a highly classified program designed to intercept and monitor global communications, from phone calls to emails to satellite transmissions. If you're thinking of paying a visit, don't bother. The facility is heavily guarded, access is completely restricted, and unauthorized visitors don't get a warning. They get stopped. We may not know exactly what's being monitored inside, but one thing's for 100% sure. They're watching us. Number 2. Snake Island. The name says it all. Snake Island is not just a secretive location, it's a deadly one, and we really mean it. If you don't love your life, or your wife, or have nothing to lose, well, by all means, go ahead and visit. But if you actually value breathing, just don't risk it. Trust us, it's not worth it. This island sits off the coast of Brazil and is home to one of the most terrifying creatures on Earth, the golden lancehead viper. Its venom doesn't just kill, it melts flesh, causing tissue destruction so severe that victims don't even make it to a hospital. Some areas of the island have 1 snake per square meter, meaning you literally can't take a step without rolling the dice on your survival. The Brazilian government has completely banned entry, except for scientists and military personnel. Why? Because even they know some places just shouldn't be visited. Number 1. Bohemian Grove. If you think exclusive clubs are reserved for Hollywood elites and business moguls, think again. Bohemian Grove, hidden in the redwood forests of Monterey, California, is where America's richest and most powerful men gather for, well, nobody knows. Run by the Bohemian Club, this 2,700-acre retreat hosts politicians, CEOs, and influential figures for a mysterious annual event that's off-limits to outsiders, especially women. Security? Tight. The Secret Service, ex-military guards, and surveillance systems ensure that no one uninvited gets in. So, what happens inside? Theories range from secret political deals to bizarre ritualistic ceremonies. Some believe the Manhattan Project, which led to the atomic bomb, was first discussed here. Others think it's just a glorified summer camp for billionaires. Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure: outsiders will never find out. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.